Professor Rob Copeland, Professor of Physical Activity and Health at Sheffield Hallam University, and I'm also the Director of the National Centre for Sport and Exercise Medicine in Sheffield. Promoting physical activity through parents for their kids is one of the most important things that we can do to give our child the best start in life. So Move More is Sheffield's attempt to become the most active city in the UK, and it's about looking at every aspect of daily life and saying how can we make it easier for people to be physically active. One thing that we found in Sheffield is that if you can be active with your kids, it's fun. They encourage you to try different activities, and it takes you to places in your city that perhaps you wouldn't do if you follow your kids being physically active. And so whether that's a walk to school, whether that's choosing to get the bus rather than the car for those short journeys, less than a mile, there really are numerous benefits to being physically active as a family. One of the things I think that people find difficult, particularly parents with kids, is actually getting them out of the house. You know, we've all been in that scenario where we're kicking and screaming because we don't want to go for that walk around the block or down to the park. But actually what we find is that if you can just get them out of the door, that's often the hardest bit. So one strategy that we found useful in Sheffield is to encourage parents to say, do you know what, let's go out for 2 minutes. If you don't like it after 2 minutes, we can come back. But what we find is that most people will, when they're out, they enjoy being physically active. So getting them out the door is perhaps the biggest challenge. One of the other ways that we've found that people can overcome barriers to physical activity is to plan it in. When we make a plan to be physically active, we're much more likely to implement that than if we try and do something off the cuff. So perhaps one strategy is to have a look at your week, find out where there are opportunities when you're together, and make a plan to be physically active. Often I would really say that anything is better than nothing. Taking any opportunity you can to be physically active. It doesn't have to be huge amounts of elite sport, and actually it can just be a walk around the block with your child. Anything that you can do to model that physical activity is important as part of daily life is going to be of benefit to their health and their well-being as they transition into adults.